Les Higashi sits on the board of directors of Pillars of Hope, an Antioch-based non-profit organization committed to fighting human trafficking. He and his fellow activists want the local community not only to gain a better understanding of this global epidemic, but that it can be found anywhere, even in the quietest neighborhoods in East County.
Well, human trafficking is it covers two things: labor trafficking and sex trafficking. Most people know about sex trafficking to a certain degree. They think that it happens in some place like Thailand or in some Southeast Asian country, or maybe some places in Europe. But it actually happens right here in the United States. In fact, California and the Bay Area is a hub for human trafficking in the United States. What happens is that there's two things: is that it's both an international hub in that there's foreign nationals that are being trafficked into the Bay Area, and you'll see them in domestic work or in restaurant work, construction, those kinds of things, but also in sex trafficking in massage parlors and brothels.
Worldwide, it's estimated that there are nearly 30 million individuals who are victims of human trafficking, a form of modern-day slavery, which means that there are more slaves alive today than during any other time period. The money being made through both sex and forced labor is lucrative, with gangs, drug cartels, and other organized crime getting in on the action.
Numerically, even around the world and in the United States, I think labor trafficking is the biggest. They get the biggest chunk of the pie. However, as far as dollars, sex trafficking brings in a lot of dollars because it's very lucrative right now, and also it's so lucrative that drug gangs and the cartel are getting involved in it because they can make a lot of money and more safely than dealing drugs.
The illicit sex trade is what appears to dominate the market in Contra Costa County. According to the Zero Tolerance Coalition, a countywide group that includes Pillars of Hope, the District Attorney's Office, and local police agencies, there were 54 victims of human trafficking rescued in just the latter half of 2014. 51 of them were victims of sex trafficking or forced prostitution, and almost all of them were female. 89% were U.S. citizens. Overall, these numbers are set to grow as more knowledge of the crisis leads to tougher enforcement, and as the internet expands the reach of traffickers as they look for victims and customers.
I think there's been an increase because of a couple factors. One is that the internet has made it easy for people to be trafficked online. So what happens is that no longer do they go to a place or do they go to a street or what they call a track where you can see visible acts of girls being trafficked on the street. What they do is they go into things like Backpage, which is backpage.com, which they then will market girls that are being trafficked, and also on online social media. So what happens is that every place that has access, every place that has everyone that has an access to a computer or a smartphone can access these girls.
One of the main goals of Pillars of Hope is to raise awareness of who these girls and women are through public events. Most victims are runaways, and statistics indicate they are as young as 12 to 14 years old when they first enter the lifestyle. Because of the broken family ties, future solutions not only involve immediate families, but the broader community as well as state and local authorities.
Sadly, a lot of the girls that have been caught up, a lot of the women that have been caught up in this are women that have experienced sexual or physical abuse when they were children growing up in a home. So a lot of times that you'll see that when they interview these victims, up to 80% of them will be somebody that has been, before they were trafficked, they were abused and physically abused or sexually abused at home.
The staff at Pillars of Hope and their partners routinely make the point that the only way to fully address human trafficking is to confront the demand for it, and to enlist as many people as possible in the fight. Many resources can be found online or through the national hotline, they say, and they are always eager to accept help.
In the Bay Area, there's a organization called Bay Area Anti-Trafficking Coalition, BAATC, and what they are is they have gathered all the people in the Bay Area, all the organizations, and they've tried to organize them into a coalition. And so I think it's every other year they have a Freedom Summit in a place. In fact, last year we had it at Levi Stadium. So I think that that's one of the things to do. The other thing is that there is organizations like the Polaris Project that they can Google, that has resources, and they have a number that they can call if there's any suspicion. They don't have to just, they feel like they need to call, and maybe they're not getting the type of cooperation that they think they would get from local agencies. Then they can call this Polaris number and call it anonymously. Also, they can ask questions and get resources as well.
Pillars of Hope recently reached a milestone in signing a lease on a safe house that will help to rehabilitate women who have been rescued from human trafficking. However, Higashi and his colleagues say it's only a small step in the right direction as they try to expand their scope and resources to battle a hidden and prolific underworld that most people still don't know exists. This is Corey Hunt, reporting for thepress.net.